Hi, my name is Antonio Washington. I'm 18 years old and I will be graduating from Baker High School with honors as of this June. First, before I get into my answers for the prompts provided, I would like to say thank you to both Shane and the committee for not only giving me the opportunity to tell you my story, but also to advocate on behalf of myself as a young man going to college. I know this is a very extensive and challenging selection process for this committee, so I'll be as professional and prompt-orientated as I can with my remaining time. First off, the very first thing I'd like you to know about me is that I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to working hard, I'm dedicated to achieving my goals, and most of all, I'm dedicated to my family. Having grown up in Baker City and lived here for almost all of my life, all I've really known is this idea of family. Whether it's my neighbor across the street or my parents and grandparents who live here in town, in my eyes, they are all close to the same thing. Just because everyone knows everyone in a small town like Baker City. Having said that, who I am, at my core, is a young man who simply wants to know more about the world and the people in it. My intended major at Eastern Oregon University will be psychology, or at least psychology orientated with the intent of becoming a clinical psychologist in my future. Given you can't legally be a psychologist as a 13-year-old kid, I opted for the more appropriate work experience in my younger years. Landscaping, though it really has nothing to do with psychology, prepared me in other ways, such as to make and work hard life decisions at a young age. I worked that job up until last summer. During that time, I also worked as a ticket collector at the Churchill Event Center here in Baker. I've also done local handyman work for my neighbors by doing odd jobs like building sheds, other construction projects, and typical ranch work. Through this, I've stayed busy and out of trouble. Even though my work background up until this point has been not at all psychology orientated, it has still taught me valuable skills. Skills like the importance of commitment and hard work no matter what it is you are doing, as long as it has a positive impact on your life. Psychology was not my first choice. As a matter of fact, for a significant amount of my high school career, I thought that I was either going to be a professional drummer in a band or a civil engineer. Two very different lives, I know. My passion for psychology itself, though it may sound and seem very sudden, is something that is not. I've always been interested in the field, and given I've done more research, the more I realize that it's been an interest of mine for a very long time. The concepts that it's able to change the world by changing the people in it is something that I truly admire. Though I am not the president of the FBLA Association or the valedictorian of my class, I am still a significant figurehead within my school and my community. If I had to list a few of my leadership experiences, I would probably start off with telling you about my attendance and collaboration at the Jostens leadership conferences throughout the years at my school. I would then go on to tell you about my exceptional role in Baker High School's construction program, having planned and assisted in many builds of the 3 years that I was in the program. I would then go on to tell you about my extensive amounts of community service and collaboration with my church here in Baker City. But the thing is, I know you guys at the committee don't want all the things I've done in my life. You want just one experience. So here's my one experience. If I were to list just one meaningful leadership experience throughout my whole life, it would simply be my outlook and attitude on life itself. Now, what I mean by that is that my experience as a leader extends beyond just curricular and extracurricular events. It's simply my displays and actions as a young man that drive my leadership qualities. When I walk into school or work, I make it my job to be able to guide and exhibit leadership qualities no matter the circumstance. Those qualities include adaptability, confidence, and most importantly, in my eyes, a commitment to continuous learning. My personality and persona, especially at school, is catered more toward my peers and teachers, not only because I want school to be an enjoyable academic experience, but also an enjoyable personal experience for both the teachers and the students. My experience with leadership outside of both school and work includes simple things, like helping my neighbors when they have no one else there. Given it's safe and I'm able to do it, in no circumstance will I ever just say no. Not to sound narcissistic in any way, but my life is simply my leadership experience. Even though I have been involved in multiple group projects throughout the years, including construction projects for the school, honors physics projects, and AP literature projects and presentations, they have not shaped me and affected me as much as the personal projects outside of school. I was in a band for almost 2 years of my high school career and have been a drummer for 6 years as of this year. Being in a band requires a great deal of collaboration and communication to be able to both coherently and efficiently put together a piece of music. Simply being a part of a project like this, where everyone has the same end goal, just different ways of getting there, definitely taught me how to be patient and forgiving with my bandmates, but also how to be assertive in what it is all of us are wanting to accomplish. In reality, I believe a band is just a glorified group presentation with a few more steps in between. With it being an outside of school project, the freedom everyone within the band had definitely taught us, as a group, how to express ourselves, and whether that expression was good or bad, it taught us a very valuable lesson. The absolute biggest takeaway and learning experience I have had from being in a band was that there are different ways of doing the same thing. Happening to learn this for the greater good of the music we were creating instilled in me a profound appreciation for people and their own personal ideas, whether or not I completely agree with them or not. I am particularly drawn to Eastern Oregon University because it not only has a deep sense of community and family, but is also able to give me affordable quality education close to my family and hometown. I personally know many students and alumni of Eastern Oregon University, including 2 former recipients of the Otec EOU Rural Scholarship. Since I've been talking to them, they have had only good things to say about the university and the professors there. I have visited the campus many times in the years, either for concerts, band practices, and school events, but the takeaway each time was that it was a good experience. With the campus being only a 45-minute drive from Baker, it was very well suited for my life. The opportunity to learn from dedicated faculty who are committed to the fields they teach is something that I've been subjected to here at Baker High, and something that I truly value and admire. With EOU being one of the smaller universities in Oregon, it means that the class sizes will also be smaller, which to me is a good thing. It means that each class I attend will be a more personal and collaborative work environment, rather than a packed lecture hall with 300 students all asking questions at once. Eastern Oregon University, based on the information I already knew and the information gathered from their tours, offer an extensive amount of courses that really suit both my personal interests and academic requirements. With my hope of majoring in psychology and minoring in music, I believe the EOU can easily and adequately fulfill those needs. On the topic of my future career as a psychologist, EOU is also in a location where I know many counseling and psychology jobs exist. So when I do graduate from college, I'll more than likely be able to find a job or internship after graduation. With schools like EOU really being the epicenter of their towns, I am more than happy to attest and be a part of a community that shares the same goals and aspirations as I do. In a weird way, EOU is like me if I were a university, rural and community orientated with the skills and reach to impact something greater. Psychology and sociology have always been personal interests of mine, but as of recently have been something that I truly want to pursue as a career and major while in college. With people as a whole being what truly makes the world what it is today, having the ability to guide and help them is something that is needed and appreciated within society. Last year, as a junior, I got the chance to job shadow Aaron Grigg, the Director of Operations at New Directions here in Baker. His quote and motto were "See a need, fill a need." That motto is a perfect representation of what I want to achieve in my own field of study. Personally, many of my family members, including my grandparents and parents, have intermittently struggled with their mental health. Whether it's an addiction to an illegal substance or some simple anxiety, it all matters when you are the person struggling. Having said that, I know that my study of psychology will not only provide insight on a personal level with others, but also a personal insight into myself and my own intentions. Both of my parents, for their work with people. My father is the director of the New Directions Women's Rehabilitation House, and my mother is a teacher at Harvest Church. The sheer impact they have had on people of all ages is a truly inspiring thing that drives me to follow in their footsteps. After I were to graduate from Eastern Oregon University, I see myself working in a more community-oriented environment, such as attending an internship for New Directions in Baker. During this, I will also be pursuing my PhD in either philosophy or psychology. I plan to help and work in my local community before moving on to a more big city-like setting. The reason I applied for the Otec Rural Scholarship is because, just as Otec does, I believe in being able to improve the quality of life for both my community and state members through the impact of my job. Though the benefits, such as the tuition and fee coverage for my 4 years at EOU, were a factor in my application process, it was not what led me to apply in the first place. What really drew me to apply was the opportunity it provided for me to prove my dedication to something as important as my future. Another factor of why I applied was due to personal encouragement from Otec workers that I know, having said that I'd be a good candidate given my values and personality. My understanding that every dollar spent or used within a rural community like this is given back to the people themselves is something that makes me feel a lot better when making such a big commitment to something as important as college. If I were to be chosen as a recipient of this scholarship, it would truly relieve a big financial burden for me and my parents. From that, I'll be able to dedicate more time and energy to my studies and overall college endeavors that ultimately would lead me to my end goal of becoming a licensed psychologist. I should be one of the 4 students to receive this scholarship because I understand what it means to fully commit to something. Whether it's work, school, or a community project, I believe that if you are given the opportunity to do it, you should give it everything you have, no matter the outcome. My goals, though they may sound unreachable, is what drives me to succeed. I want to be the best person I can be in my life, and I truly believe that by attending and thriving within a college like EOU is the first steps to doing so. As I was writing this script, I came to the conclusion that I am okay with not receiving this scholarship and the benefits it has. What I was not okay with was not trying or even giving it my all in the first place. And due to that fact is why I should be one to receive it. Some things I would like the community to know would be that even though I am not at the top of my class or even got the highest SAT score, I have still attended and completed many AP classes through BMCC and EOU. Another thing is that though I've said it and explained it many times, I still cannot fully convey how committed and locked in I am with Eastern Oregon University as my next step in life. Not only because it's great for my family, but also because it's perfect for me and my financial situation. Lastly, I would like to say that whether or not I am picked as recipient for this scholarship, I appreciate you, the committee, giving me the chance to be a finalist for it in the first place. I do have a few questions for the committee, so I guess I'll just ask those now since we're at the end. What exactly does the Otec internship have in it, as for like workload and time frame and stuff like that? I don't know if you can tell me this, but I would really like to know how many finalists there were, just given how many places can apply and are eligible for this scholarship. And I'd also want to know just what exactly do you look for in a recipient of this scholarship? And yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate your time, and I just hope to hear from you guys soon about your decision.